I'm back. I didn't think it was possible, but I am. Yeah. I'm upset. Yesterday went horribly, and I'm so upset that I had to call it off. I'm thinking I fixed it. I think it has something to do with the full screen for Pokemon Infinite Fusion. Full screen games have been a problem for a while, at least for me. I don't know why they're like that, but I just changed up a few things. It's not in full screen anymore for me. It's actually in normal mode for me. Oh, I minimized it. No wonder I'm not seeing it properly. Okay, so OBS seems to capture it fine. I'm not going to start off with gameplay quite yet, because I do plan on covering topics like I normally do. I'm closing things that I don't need, because I actually don't know what caused things to crash yesterday. So I've got my taskbar open, or I've got the task manager open to try and help me out a little bit. I'm going to check it periodically, probably throughout the stream. So if I pause, it's probably because I'm checking and making sure everything is fine. For now, though, I think we're going to get started. So let me really quickly do this. And let's get into recording mode. Right. So, as many people have heard, or maybe you haven't, there was a drama a little while ago, back in September of last year, involving a person named Adrianah Lee going after one of Mizkif's closest, or one of Mizkif's friends. I shouldn't say closest, because I don't know that to be true, but one of Mizkif's friends being Crazy Slick. I will refer to him as Slick from here on out. So, a recent development in that story has come up, that being, Adrianah Lee is filing for defamation. That's right. Adrianah Lee is now filing a defamation lawsuit against Mizkif, OTK, and more. Now, who is Adrianah Lee? Why does that name sound awfully familiar? Well, this is where we're going to be getting into... I'm going to get into a real quick recap, so I'll probably put like a timestamp in the description of the video so that you can just skip ahead if you don't really care. But anyway, without further ado, the quick little recap is, in 2020, Adrianah goes to a party where allegations of Slick touching her will inevitably come from. At some point in 2021, Adrianah finds out about the pulse checking on her neck and arm. And this happens between 2020 and 2021. And in 2021, Adrianah finds out about what Slick does, the more inappropriate touching, because Novaru goes live to tell Adrianah's story. Adrianah gets upset with her and writes the first twitlonger, in which she says no assault happened. That twitlonger is from this tweet. So you can see that this happened in July of 2021. This is the twitlonger, same day. And she basically outlines that on January 19th, she went to Novaru's 21st birthday party. Anyway, this isn't really relevant. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I'm just putting it out there. And during which her friends tell her that there was touching around the chest area. Anyway, so in 2022, the drama comes up again thanks to Trainwrecks going after Mizkif because of the Twitch gambling incident. And this is where he accuses him of covering up a sexual assault. Now this takes us back to 2021, where apparently Miz sends Maya to talk to Adrianah and make sure she puts that no assault happened in that twitlonger. Because apparently before this, she was going to put that. We have no way of really confirming any of that, but that's basically the drama. In 2022, everything gets convoluted to the point that no one's story really makes sense except for Adrianah's and Trainwreck's, because a lot of the facts were lining up in a line that would have suggested that that is where it was going, what really happened. So, because of this, OTK would put out a statement. Now, keep in mind, they did an internal investigation on the situation. And you can see this is her evidence for all the things that Slick had been doing to her up till this point, and other girls as well. So it's a long list that I think even keeps going. No, okay. It's a long list of things. Anyway, so come the end of 2022, moving into 2023, we get this. Literally, come the end of 2022. On September 20th, OTK began the process of contracting a third-party law firm to investigate the conduct and allegations made against one of our founding members, Ms. Kiff. We proceeded to retain Jackson Walker LLP, one of the largest and most experienced, neutral, investigative firms in our state. The scope of the investigation was to determine whether or not Ms. Kiff attempted to cover up or minimize a sexual assault allegedly committed by one of his former roommates. Jason Walker was granted free rein to gather all relevant facts, interview witnesses, and advise OTK as to whether evidence supported the allegations. Ms. Kiff was placed on unpaid leave for the duration of the investigation. We don't know how long the investigation was. If I had to suspect, I'd say it probably went until around October 11th, because that's when Ms. Kiff went live. Basically rejoicing that Twitch gambling was banned. Basically, so October 11th he goes live, and then October 18th is the banning of gambling permanently on Twitch. That was his quote-unquote comeback stream, in which he further, basically further incriminated himself in a lot of people's opinions, mine included. I just personally think that I personally think that he did the thing that people accused him of. There's evidence that suggests it. There's testimony that suggests it. Everything, like, really, it really does suggest that there was some kind of cover-up or something that went on. Anyway, according to Jason Walker's investigations counsel did not find direct evidence that Ms. Kiff attempted to minimize or cover up sexual assault as alleged. Nevertheless, OTK believes that Ms. Kiff has shown a callous disregard towards the severity of sexual misconduct and racial prejudice in our space. His statements regarding these matters on his comeback stream on October 11th demonstrated a lack of empathy and ignorance towards the seriousness of the situation and the impact that his conduct has on our community. So, even though the investigation firm didn't find any evidence, OTK themselves, that being Asmongold and a few others, that he's the only one I really know anymore, still think that he did it based on his comeback stream. This doesn't make sense. And I'll keep reading. Due to his actions, the OTK Board of Directors has suspended Ms. Kiff from his board duties effective immediately. And he will be placed on monitored probation until he demonstrates to the board that he is capable of upholding our organization's values. His status as an OTK member has otherwise been reinstated. It's kind of sad when you really stop and think about it, because, you know, this is a serious thing, and they just say, "Oh no, you're welcome back. You're not on the board anymore, but you're just welcomed back with open arms." Well, I shouldn't have said exactly that, because as we know, Adrianah Lee filed the suit. The suit filed by Adrianah Lee doesn't include details about why she filed the defamation suit. We'll update with more details as they're revealed. This lawsuit follows allegations brought against Slick, allegations that were originally brought to light between a feud by a feud between Trainwrecks and Mizkif on September 19th, 2020. Trainwrecks alleged that Mizkif orchestrated the cover-up for his friends in relation to creators being sexually assaulted. This just goes over what we had already talked about. Adrianah has gone on the record saying that Mizkif should have been banned on Twitch a short time after he returned to the platform on October 11th. She also posted a Twitter thread of people who had allegations of their own against Slick. So, like, this conspiracy, like, goes super deep, as you can see. Like, this is to the point that I do honestly believe that the guy probably has done some weird shit to girls. You know, there's enough in here to suggest it. That's all I'm saying. Crazy Slick has been radio silent ever since, and has chosen to delete all of his videos on YouTube, Twitch. Meanwhile, both Maya and Mizkif are still very active creators on the Twitch and YouTube. I didn't know Maya was still doing things. Is she? Maya. Huh, guess she is. I did not realize that she was still active. I thought she did her last stream. Maybe that was something else. These events were followed by a number of creators leaving OTK. Bruce Drop-'Em-Off left in late January and later called out Mizkif for messages sent to him shortly following his resignation. I kind of want to see that. Okay, not doing that. OTK's co-founder Rich Campbell also resigned after sexual assault allegations came out against him on December 16th, 2022. So it's not been a good time for OTK in general. He has also remained radio silent. Now, this is where I get into... Personally, I do think that there's some weird shit that's going on. I think that you can look at the org and understand that something's off. Something's just not right. Why do I say it's not right? Well, on one end of the spectrum, you have Mizkif, who's apparently done nothing wrong, but is still placed on administrative leave, basically, until they think that his conduct is better and that he can conduct himself properly. And then on the other end, apparently the investigation firm found nothing wrong. Why would that be? Why would it be that suddenly he's just allowed back if the investigation firm found nothing wrong? Well, maybe it's a little bit more deep than even they're letting on. Maybe he did do something, and they're just trying to cover for him because he was one of the founding members, like they said. Personally, with this lawsuit, I really do want to. I do want to know where this is going. Oh no, it's gonna kill. Damn it. I do want to know where this lawsuit's going because it's actually interesting to see whether or not we're actually going to be getting real evidence or anything like that happening anytime soon. I'd imagine that she's going into this with the evidence in mind, and that it's not just random things, or or she doesn't have the evidence. I firmly believe she has to have something. But maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments, I just want to know. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. Who knows? So, if you think I'm wrong, leave it in the comments, explain your reason. If not, I don't really care what you do after that. Alright, well, until next time, I will see you later. Nope. Whoops. Nope, nope. What the heck? How far up does this go? Oh, that's apparently the top. Okay, corner to corner. That, and then center. There we go. Look at that. I'm doing it. I'm back. Oh, I found a rare candy. Sick. I found an escape rope. Sick. Alright. Let me get the next topic up, because this is going to be a doozy of one. Go back to here. Gonna quickly do this. So far, it looks like the stream is fine. It looks like I'm doing good. Let me go upper full. Okay, so now I guess let's pull up topic 2.
The Chris Tyson.
Shut up. Alright. Let's do topic 2. Ladies and gentlemen and everything in between. Alright. It's 3, 2, 1. So, SunnyV2 and his nightmare has come to light. So, if you don't know, SunnyV2 has released a video titled, "Why Chris Will Soon Be a Nightmare for Mr. Beast." Well, as we'll learn, this is why SunnyV2 will soon be a nightmare for SunnyV2. Anyway, before we get into the video, Mr. Beast has responded to this. In a statement made on his Twitter, "Yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare, he's my fucking friend, and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off." You know it's bad when Mr. Beast is swearing and getting angry. And, you know, I've watched this video a few times. I think that Sunny, for whatever reason, this video just comes across really fucking, like, bizarre to me. It's almost like he was trying to be fair, but at the same time he has some, like, strange bias against Mr. Beast, against Chris, or against something. And in the meanwhile, you're just forced to listen to it and go, like, whoa, that's psychotic, that's crazy. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be saying this stuff without showing it to you, so I guess without further ado, we're going to get into it. I'm going to make sure everything is working on my end. I'm going to make sure that everything is good. I think we're good. I'm going to check my... So, without further ado, let's get into why Chris will soon be a nightmare for Mr. Beast.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for Mr. Beast's brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama, before explaining exactly how this will impact the Mr. Beast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude, yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits,
To me, I don't think that this is increasingly feminine traits. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I think that this is, you know, maybe his wife painted his nails or something like that. That's always a possibility. Keep in mind, he had a wife and he had a kid. So it's not like we're coming out of the nowhere with this and saying like, oh, well, no, his wife could have painted his nails, who knows. It's not uncommon, to say the least. This isn't where it gets psychotic, and I think it's fair enough to point out that he had been doing this, but it's also kind of just like, what was the point in saying all this? It felt like a bunch of, this feels like kind of a little bit of filler to me. Maybe it's not, maybe I'm wrong, but who knows.
Making tweets such as, I finally got my nails done at a nail tech. Additionally, Chris would highlight...
So he got his nails done good. By the way, it's worth it every once in a while. I've had it done a few times. Well, I've not had my nails painted, but I've had my nails done. I've had my nails done in a good way. To where... you know, to where they actually feel a little bit better than normal. But... I guess I digress. And this is where I think it gets psychotic. The start of the pandemic versus now. Okay, at the start of the pandemic, this is what he looks like versus now, and he's shaven. Now, listen to what Sunny's gonna say here.
That his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?
The facial structure is basically the same. The problem is the facial... I could understand where anyone is coming from. The lack of facial hair, he does look way younger than the person in the passport. There's a good amount of it. But the eyebrows are thicker. You can see a lot of the changes, and especially the hair. So, in defense of him, and you should if you change your appearance drastically, you should always get things updated, especially if you're an adult and you've got a passport, an ID, or anything of that sort.
Prompting replies such as, you went from man to boy. Chris
That was a good roast, by the way. That was completely fair.
Responded by stating, nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better, yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his Mr. Beast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled I strapped a GoPro to a fish, in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother. Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating how did Chris go from this to this, while others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now,
I wish I could find... Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wish I could find that TikTok. I looked... So after yesterday's crash of his stream, I tried looking for that TikTok. I can't find it. Maybe it's out there, but I went to the person's @ I through the browser. I don't do things through the app. The app is practically useless, and I deleted it not too long after trying. But, you know, I tried, and I tried, and I tried. I could not find it. No matter... So it might have been deleted. I don't know. But it is strange to note that he's not showing the likes on it. It's almost like it had a low like count, and he just threw it in here to make it sound more convincing. That's what I'm taking away from it.
Now, this was pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had...
In fairness to Sunny for pointing that out, by the way, in fairness to him, he at least pointed out that, like, this tweet existed.
Even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife.
This is where we're getting conspiratorial to the nth degree.
his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months.
So, I don't really see anything wrong with what he's been saying. I don't see anything wrong with him, like, I guess, going to the Kids' Choice Award looking more feminine. If he was having marital issues at the time, which, from what I gathered, he was, and and like he said, they had been split, or they split up afterwards or whatever. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with what he's saying here, but at the same time, I think it's kind of crazy to suggest that, Chris is the reason why, or to suggest that his wife is the reason why he's being ultra feminine. I think that that is kind of just nuts in every term.
Which, according to a quick Google search, is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and Mr. Beast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be.
So, this is a tweet that I said, I don't agree with the first part. I think that the first part is insane. But the second part, I kind of can understand and can agree with. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. To some degree, that's true. History has shown that time and time again. Nothing wrong with the second part. The first part is psychotic.
Be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create.
And we don't even get to see the like count on it. No. This is a quote retweet. This is a quote retweet of, the original tweet. I'm sure we could find it. I just don't really. I could probably find it in just a second here. But you can tell it's a quote retweet, because if you click this and say you go with this one, you can see the format is the same shape. And you've got the likes and you got the encounters all down there. So really quickly, I'm gonna do something. That was recently, so live with Evan. Oh look, it's right there. This had, well, it had 1.2k like, or not 1.2k, 12k likes. So it's not like it's coming from a place of nowhere. All right.
Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times. Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love."
I think tweets like that are also psychotic, so don't get your knickers in a snit. Alright, that is a completely psychotic thing to say. I think that some kids are... I think that there is... I think that there is some, some value in saying, oh, my kid will only know love, not hate. No, your kid will eventually hate, and you don't have to teach it. Other people can. Alright?
I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker. Chris's response received some positivity such as, I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to—
I'm not dissing, but 3 like tweets? Really, you can't find anything else?
have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that.
3 in 1. It's like, dude, holy moly, you can't find anything? We're gonna teach you to mark.
That decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a
So 3 in 1 like tweets versus 1,355 liked tweets.
other figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart
and 18
at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, it's never too late to start being yourself, which received praise from Mr. Beast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. Mr. Beast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the
Yeah, again, I go back, I thought that this was fucking savage of Mr. Beast to do. Just opinion irrelevant ratio. You don't expect that from someone like Mr. Beast.
Original commenter would state, I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life. In some—
God damn. You'd think that these people actually think that transitioning kills you. Literally. Just...
In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes, Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment.
I've never seen Jimmy, Mr. Beast, so disappointed and sad before. Clearly, you've never seen a picture of, like, Mr. Beast in any of his things. He has this, like, perma face all the time. Let me see, can I even find one? Mr. Beast. Is he sad and disappointed here? I mean, seriously. He just has that perma look. It's the same look.
The elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. I mean, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind. Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act—
So, for the most part, there weren't that many awkward moments, guys. But these few awkward moments that are in there, yeah, that determines the whole length of the video. Not... Yeah, I didn't do anything.
as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience.
I have to be going crazy, because to me this sounds like the guy's not thinking of MrBeast's bottom line at all, and isn't resonating with the fans. It's like, what is... I'd understand the criticism if it's like, you know, oh, you know, but no, it's fully on the lines of just like, oh, you don't even, he's not taking into consideration that MrBeast's bottom line might get affected by this. I mean, seriously.
This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over the top
147 likes on a video that I don't know where this comes from. Movies and shows today just makes characters gay for the sake of it. No character development, no good story. So much shit today that just pushes an agenda and forgets that people watch stuff for entertainment.
LGBT characters.
I'd like to know what the rest of that comment said, but I can't. This isn't me blurring anything on the video. This is an actual part of the video. Go to 720, you'll see it.
Characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So you're
if
a
I got
Keemstar?
it.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real.
Okay, no, that doesn't have to happen. He could quietly phase him out. There's nothing wrong with that. YouTubers do it all the time. Even some of the best ones have done this for years. You don't just throw them out onto the street and go, nah, we don't need you anymore. He could anyone could get quietly phased out. It doesn't have to just be him. And it is an escapable situation. Comments like this are the reason why, like, no one really has any grip about, like, what it's like to run a channel. Alright, this is a very audience way of looking at things. Alright, MrBeast could do anything he wants, no problems. Alright,
Inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare.
Okay. This is the explanation he gives, alright?
If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare.
That's his logic for calling this... Let's see, can I get it? I can. Why Chris will soon be a nightmare for MrBeast? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Nobody on the planet Earth looks at this and says, oh yeah, he totally can't get out of this situation.
Jimmy has no option but to publicly
no likes on this one, 24 on this one.
express acceptance of Chris's transition, a silence or even worse disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true
No likes again. Yes, you are a defective human. Yeah, Mr. Beast is going to end up dropping the views because of Chris. I think Mr. Beast has been up views for a while.
Feelings and may rather simply click on fewer Mr. Beast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
So that's the Mr. Beast video, and I have to go back to saying the whole video comes across as psychotic. No matter what angle you look at it, it's like what you're describing is practically saying that Mr. Beast has no authority of his channel, never will, and never can. This isn't a nightmare. This is SunnyV2's nightmare, 100%. He totally... Back up. We should be good now. Sorry, I guess the stream crashed a little bit, but not really. Just lost connection. Anyway, yeah. I guess let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, last topic of the day. Last topic of the day. I'll be right back. Hello? Okay, I think we're good. I'm gonna be checking my stream real quick. Please say it didn't crash. It shouldn't have crashed. It didn't! We're good! We're good! Alright. Last topic of the day is a big one because I chose it to be because this drama interested me.
For anything. Bridge.
I'm gonna really quickly open everything.
Person.
Shut up. Alright. Should be good. Gonna really quickly finish up this fight just so that I can get ready. Let's go over to the full screen. That. Well, I guess I still have one. I didn't realize I still had one to go. Oh, he did not have sturdy as an ability. That's interesting. Alright, it's time to... Let's get the last topic. I think I'm going to save my rant segment for a different week. Just because this is going a bit longer than I hoped. And next week's rant... Next week will be the Mandalorian rant segment. Oh, I found Team Rocket. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go heal my Pokemon. Yeah, next week we'll be I'll be doing a completely a with spoilers review of the Mandalorian. Anyway, let's go over to here and get ready, shall we? All right. So, FaZe Clan got into a bit of a controversy recently, and what I mean by that is, well, simply put, the stocks are down. Ever since they went public, they have lost their entire stock. This is coming from a year. We can look at the 6 month, the 1 month. The 1 month they've been on the up a little bit. The past 5 days they've been a little bit green, but today they're also still going down. But anyway, FaZe Clan's been in a bit of a controversy recently, to the point that FaZe Banks, one of the more well-respected members of FaZe, I don't know what all these corporate fucks think they are doing. Weighing options, plotting, doing whatever the F it is that they've been doing, but the answer is very simple. Give us our brand back. You stole it in the first place. It goes to zero otherwise. You have no idea what FaZe is. Again, this is coming after the FaZe stock has been on a sharp decline for the past 6 months, ever since it went public on September 20th, I think it was. Can't see it. I guess it's been past 6 months. And this has been a drama that's been interesting to me because, as you can see, we have FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan's Seabass addresses Tico's drama. Now, what did Tico say? Well, we're going to be taking a look at some of the things he said, some of the things Seabass said, and other things. Now, Tico's been with them for 12 years, and he came into support of Rain. FaZe Rain, who's another member that also left. Everyone thought he was like going schizo mode on FaZe, but it turned out he was right. Anyway, so Tico came out against it, and Seabass claims that they tried to make things work. Well, how did they try and make things work? Well, before we get into that, let's hear what Tico had to say. This is him talking about the shares he got of the company.
Because I thought I was going to be included with y'all. Someone else can come in as late as last year who's not from this industry, never lifted a finger for FaZe, probably didn't even know what FaZe was, and get 3 times the amount of shares that I have, and a monthly or annually salary that's more money than I've ever been paid from FaZe by a mongful. In all of these years, we always hear talent first, talent first. Talent is the most important thing. No, we're not. You've always showed us otherwise. You've always showed us that these recruits that you make, the celebrities who get more, like Snoop Dogg and his son has more money and more shares than a lot of FaZe members who were here from fucking day one. It's not even just about me at this point. There's so many people. Yes, Rain is right. For everyone that's saying Rain's tripping, Rain is the only guy who has balls to speak up. He's the only one.
So that was him talking about the shares he got and how apparently Rain was right the whole time. This next clip is going to be about paying with his own money. FaZe didn't even have the audacity to pay for some of these things.
And I had $100,000 in a bank account, and I've been to more CS events than all of our owners combined. I give more fucks about that than all of our owners combined. They can't even make as much as a tweet when we win a major. Oh yeah, I care about this. Yeah, FaZe. No, you don't. I'm not even an owner and I care more than you do. I used to pay for my own flights to go to tournaments with the CS team. I used to take them out to dinner, pay for the dinner with my own money, and never ask for a reimbursement because I just wanted to represent FaZe the best way I could. I swear on everything. So I've done all of these things. I never asked for anything because I always thought, no, I'm building. We're building. I'm a part of this. Even though I'm less, again, I want to clarify it. I know I'm not the real owners, and I never tried to be. I'm never asked to be or never asked to get what they have.
Was that the end of that one? I can't remember. Yeah, it was. And this last one to me is the most abysmal part about this. FaZe Clan, with the merch that they do.
FaZe Clan insisted in together the clothing with me, like my merch drop and stuff like that, and I was like, you know what? It makes sense. We'll do it together. It's a good split. We'll make it in-house. They fuck up the design and like the manufacture process. And then I have to go on Twitter to find out that these people haven't received their hoodies 2 months later. And I don't even get as much as an apology. And some of those people got the wrong hoodies because you put the wrong print on. After that, I obviously don't want to do clothing in-house with FaZe anymore. So I do it by myself. I pay for the designs myself. I found a manufacturer myself. Everything, okay? I do everything myself. I didn't ask FaZe for a single thing. I get my own website, tico.com, pay for it, everything. And then they still contact me trying to get 20% of my profits.
All right, let me just explain. The fact that they expect 20% of his profits. Now, I get that that might be a contractual thing. Trust me, I understand. Contracts are annoying and everything else like that. And I understand that that's probably what it was, is just a contract thing. But that's insanity. The fact that they expected him to give 20% of his own stuff. He made all this on his own, contracted the right people to go through to make the merch and everything else. In the future, the one beforehand, he's already said is on his end. Or on FaZe's end. But the fact that they expect him to just give 20%. Well, it's ours now. Give us 20%. How corporate do you have to be? How friggin' corporate do you actually have to be? So, anyway, this is Seabass responding to the allegations. This is him responding to which one? This is... Oh. Let me do something. Let me get in close for a second. If you ever make an argument like this for a company, you should be out of business. Unironically.
That said, I do want to give some perspective as to how we even got here with him, and understanding that I do think we, speaking on behalf of FaZe Clan, have been able to give Tico a successful, viable career. I think that this is a guy who obviously was making YouTube videos about, Call of Duty trick shots just like everybody else. And together with him, with his contributions, we've been able to bring him to America. We've been able to put a roof over his head for over 10 years, including the one he's living in right now that FaZe pays for.
Hey, FaZe pays for your house, buddy. Shut up. You're making the brand look bad. You're making it look bad. Can you not? You're making us look bad, bud. We need you to stop. Dude, if you make the argument that you should... oh, well, we pay for the roof over your head, ergo... be quiet and be quiet, let us take 20%. Let us do this, let us do that. Holy moly! This is him responding to what? Oh, yeah, this is exactly what I was just saying before.
Who's ever worked here, but the majority of the people that I work with at FaZe are our biggest fans. And these are the people we're actually hurting right now by this playing out in public. The people that really care. The fans that are sitting at home that saw that we created a career out of our passion and are now able to do that without the thought of the weight of the world and the real world. We're living here on this slice of the internet. Those people who have that dream, who want to do the same thing that we did, they're seeing us fight. They're seeing everybody just throw their shots at FaZe. Not the good actors, not the bad actors, but just all lumping it together. And I think that is more of my issue with, to separate it now to more with Norton. And that's been more of the issue with obviously trying to deal with him over the last few years is, I mean, look, if you've ever watched a FaZe Ran video, you know the guy's passionate. And I wouldn't necessarily...
You're tarnishing the brand, buddy. You're hurting the fans. You're hurting them. You're hurting them. Dude, this is psychotic. I'm using this term lightly, but seriously. He's tarnishing the brand. You're making it worse by making this public. Just be quiet and be quiet. Please, be quiet. And lastly, this is him talking about Tico's motives for doing this.
Paid for my rent for months. No, I've never talked about, like, that's the kind of guy that this guy is. And he's looking at the piece of the pie that he got. And it's like, well, everybody else got a bigger piece now. We're this public company, and who are all these people? Who are all these, you know, directors and XYZ that don't have our interest at heart? But if that's the way, I promise you, Norton, if that's the way we approach the conversation with those people, this is where we end up. We have to work every day at fighting that off. We can't just build a brand that people like and sit back and allow it to rake in the money for us. And if we honestly want to be able to provide this opportunity to decades of newer generations of people, instead of just being happy with what we've done for 12 years, then we have to show up, and we have to be accountable, and we have to understand that a lot of these decisions we've made bear some fault.
Hey, the corporates wanted our money. You don't get money. Only the corporates do. I mean, seriously, dude. The fact, and that's the end of that one, but, you know, the fact that any company would think about putting this guy out there and saying, yeah, this was a great video, guys. I mean, hell, even the comments are like ripping this video apart. You were here since the beginning, but only communicate to fans when it's needed. The transparency has been the problem, and it's making fans go against members. We enjoyed authenticity, but after selling it to suits, most of you can't grasp the real meaning behind FaZe anymore. This is ridiculous. The roof over his head argument makes no sense. The FaZe house was an investment to make content together. It wasn't a gift. Many companies pay their employees rent or their relocation expenses if they deem to be extremely valuable to the company whilst paying them their fair share. Did Tico benefit from FaZe? Sure, but in return, Tico and other members also made what FaZe is. I think this was not proper, but I absolutely believe that Tico could have been as successful, if not more successful, had he left FaZe and went his own path. The entire FaZe argument, we created a brand together, but now you can't ask anything because you benefit off of what we created together. Yeah, and that's absolutely right. Now, if you think that this is the first time that FaZe has done something like this, it's not. FaZe has done this before. If you don't know, and I wish I had this up before I started the stream. If you don't know, oh god, what was his name? Tfue. Actually had a lawsuit with them, and I'm going to get that up right here, that the court filings that was voluntarily dismissed. This guy got psyched out of 80% of his earnings. FaZe denied taking that, but everyone knows they did. I think he even showed proof that they did back then. You know, but it's like, this behavior, we've seen this behavior in the past. This isn't the first time that we've seen this behavior or that anything like this, you know, this isn't new. This is exactly what FaZe has been like the whole time. There's no getting around it. You just can't. Whoops. You know, I mean, that's really the end of this drama, and in my opinion, I do. I think that this is going to be an absolute amazing drama to continue to see go through. I want to know where this goes. And like I said, I'm covering this because I want to know, or because I thought it was interesting. I think that the whole concept behind this one is pretty interesting. And I want to know what your thoughts are on it. I mean, seriously. They put a roof over his head, and that's why you guys should forgive... That's why you guys should forgive FaZe Clan. Unreal. Until next time. I'm gonna finish this fight. I'm gonna... Bag... I mean, seriously. If any other company made an argument like that, do you know how quickly they'd go out of business? The fact that this Pokemon has landed every hit whilst being paralyzed is insanity. Alright. Before we leave, I want to do something. I thought I had... I do. We're gonna splice some genes. Ooh. Water ground or groundwater. I like that one more. This is a game where you can fuse Pokemon. That's a good one. Pokemon was fused into Sand Turtle. We'll give it the nickname of Alex. The ability powers up water-type moves in a pinch. Boosts the Pokemon evasiveness in sand. Ooh, that's actually good. Nature, relaxed. They're both relaxed. Amazing. Let's combine the moveset. Poison Sting. Power 15. The poison is pretty good, though. I think I'll give up on learning that one. Yes. Rollout. We'll take... let's see. So 40, 30... You know, we'll take the other one. We'll take it over Rock Smash. Fury Cutter. That's a fighting move too. That's actually pretty good. Bug. Fury Cutter. It's 95 with 40. Let's keep Withdrawal. Well, I think that's where I'm going to end it today. Let me get things going. Let's see, where is my staff? Alright. Oh, it's right here. Let's find a good one. We'll do Orb. Orb sounds cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's today's. Videos will come out tomorrow, Friday, and Monday of next week. And then Tuesday, we'll be back to streaming. Now that I know what the issue was, it shouldn't be a problem. Ending tunes isn't working. Give me a second.